Hello, ladies. Today, I accompanied by a very dear friend of mine and yours, Susanna Liller. We decided to get together and create and show you what we talk about when you don't see us. Because we are crazy in love with the subject that we share, which is the divine feminine. And I'm sure that you are also crazy in love with the very same subject. So that's why we go together. We don't have an agenda. We don't have a series of questions. We're just going to talk about how we see things and what's important now, moving in our lives, in our practices, and we hope to be of help to all of you. Susanna, welcome.
Thank you, Blanca. It's just such a fun thing to do because you're right. We get together without Zoom with Zoom, but not recording, and we have these great conversations. And so here we go. We'll do one and share it. But I have a request of you.
Absolutely.
So part of and let me just say, I'm still learning about what is the sacred feminine or the divine feminine or the eternal feminine. I actually heard recently it's also known as the solar feminine. But at any rate, one thing I really understand about it is it encompasses the idea that everything is connected, everything is sacred. And so of course, this moment, my relationship with you, my connection with you, the people listening, it's a sacred moment. And so I would like to light a candle
Beautiful.
that I have back here on my mantle, just as a symbol of that, if I may be permitted.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as you light the candle, ask everybody who is with us to light that candle in your heart. And we connect with this small or big gesture of lighting a candle in our heart.
Right.
That
Right.
light from within.
And definitely, and symbolizing that light within and the flame, the spark within that connects us to our divinity. Always, always, never goes out. So, yeah. So, how have you been? Should we start there?
Good. Very good. Very good. Very excited. It seems to me that I am yet again coming to another level of expressing what my work is about. And I'm getting back to the mother, and all the ladies that I work with always come back with that same subject, this thirst for more mother.
Yes.
And they try to quench that thirst with relationships, at work, entrepreneurship, and it's never quenched, that thirst. And when we have conversations, we always go back to finding it within. And the within is again the connection with the divine feminine, with the eternal feminine. Right. But it's very uncomfortable because we're not used to it and we don't know how to do it. It's so foreign to us.
Right. I think maybe just to go back a little bit in our history together. We met at the Hudson Institute of Coaching. I think it was like 20 years ago or something like that. And we had this connection. And I think the connection, we haven't let go of it. You live in the Netherlands. I live in Maine in the United States. I mean, we're how many years apart? Could we possibly be 30 years apart? So I'm 71.
I'm 53.
Okay. So we're difference in age, but there's such a connection because we have this common need to express. But also I think at the time that we met, both of us were still very much in the business world. And we went to Hudson thinking, well, we're going to be, and you know, add in your piece, that we're going to be executive coaches working with organizations, professionals, you know, succeeding in that world. And since then, both of us have moved away and away and away. For me, it was, can I even show that I'm a spiritual being and that I care about that and want to talk about it? And how does that fit with these engineers I'm working with? So I think
Oh, yeah.
we've been on a similar journey.
Big piece, big piece.
Yeah.
A lot of anxiety on that subject. How am I going to talk about God and spiritual and soul? It was really scary. It's suddenly, oh, I'm woo-woo. But I went to university, you know, I'm not, don't have anything against science.
Oh, Margaret, I
And I
know.
still don't. I'm fascinated. I want to learn more about astrology. These days, there is a comet passing by the Earth. It's fascinating. I didn't really know anything about comets, so I started researching, and this, you know, like expanding. It's not subtracting, but it's really expanding. And that fear of showing the world how woo I am has been welcomed by the engineers and accountants and
So I have to share this story with you. So I know you're on LinkedIn, and to me, always LinkedIn has been more for professionals, whatever that means, people in the organizational business world. And then I do a lot more on Instagram, where I feel like I can be more myself. But I've been letting myself out on LinkedIn, and lo and behold, I get a comment from a former colleague in my conflict resolution world, saying that I am so woo-woo. So the comment was something like, she's really nice, but she has totally lost touch with reality, totally woo-woo, something like that. And so yeah, I was really taken aback, and I thought, okay. And I went to the woman who helps me put things out there, and she happens to be 30. And I said, maybe, Kim, we have to just take off everything from LinkedIn that, you know, which, think about that. I was saying, this is who I am, but let's just subtract this part of me and not show it, right? And she said, Susanna, you are woo-woo. It's okay. I mean, whatever the heck that means. I think it means, you know, you believe in things that aren't necessarily concrete and seen, and, you know, you can't scientifically prove it necessarily. But at any rate, she said, you are. And so be that. And of course, I'm always telling people, be who you are, be your authentic self. And here I was wanting to subtract all that. So yeah,
oh, totally. I think this journey is that we are sharing, or we're talking about right now, is the one that we all women have right now. It's about integration. And the integration of the divine feminine is about everything. Everything is everything. Recently, I've been more the Excel woman that I haven't been for many years. I was very flexible and very open. Well, we'll see, letting go of plans. And these days, I've been doing my Excel again and bring it back and having wonderful conversations thanks to that. So ultimately, the divine feminine is the bridge towards this marriage.
right.
Because the ultimate objective is that we have a healthy masculine and a healthy feminine within ourselves. Is
Right.
not that interpretation of fairy tales that the man, a physical human man, is going to save us, but the psychological part within masculine is healthy masculine is going to save the psychological healthy feminine within. And that will marry and create a wonderful next version of you. And this is the game. This is what we need to do right now, globally.
Okay. And I think, so then I go to, well, then what does that look like? And I think about back when I was an employee in a very male organization, wanting to get ahead, wanting to strive, all the managerial, directorship, vice presidents, all men. And this was, when was this? In the early 90s. And so just talking about the qualities. So what is the marriage, and what, so the qualities that I brought forth to succeed in that world, learning to just, put myself forward in meetings, interrupt, even though I was always taught not to interrupt, to just be more demanding, more forthright, more, not hurting people, but not being so considerate about, well, how is this going to affect their career? I was just pushing. And so to me, when I look back, that's more male, masculine, which it's important, because if you don't use those skills, then you can tend to have wonderful ideas, but they never go anywhere. And then what you were describing, when you were saying before, you were being flowy and we'll see, again, that's, you can have wonderful ideas, but then they need that balance to put them out. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I just had a coaching session with a dear customer of mine, and we were talking about self-love. And she says, I don't know what self-love could look like right now for me. How could you do it this weekend? I really don't know, because I have so many things to do. And one of the things to do that I'm procrastinating about was to send an invoice. And I found it fascinating. Tell me more about that invoice. And we went into detail on the relationship that she has with that customer. And guess what? That relationship with the customer was a great opportunity for her to show self-love to herself. She needed to upgrade how she is dealing with this customer. I think life is really fractal, and there is every single place in our life to have that marriage of being soft and powerful, assertive and patient and nourishing and caring. And it's like, the way I see it is like being your best father and your best mother of yourself.
Yeah, that's a great way to talk about it. Yes. Yeah. And you know what got me so not confused? Well, so I also feel like I need to give you credit for launching me on this journey of trying to understand the sacred feminine and to talk about this, because you invited me to your From Wounds to Wings seminar. And I understood that as, of course, it makes sense that I talk about the heroine's journey. That's my program, that's my work. So it shows how women transition and evolve and transform as they go on the journey, and they have lots of wounds that they learn from. But I've told you this before, but I was so busy, I just kind of, okay, yeah, I'm here and I'll talk. And we had the interview. And then I listened to your interview with Anne Baring, who is probably the one of the major sources of everything on the divine feminine. Absolutely. And I listened to your interview with Jean Shinoda Bolen. Another one. Yes, and I have in my bookshelf. I know. And then I began to go, wow. And then the other interview, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, of the woman who wrote about the divine companion to Jesus, that amazing book, which I also got. Right. So So what you did,
Savintino, yeah.
yeah, what you did, you blew my head open for, wow, I've got to learn about all this stuff. And let me just say to you, Blanca, how grateful I am, because the other thing it did was, in my podcast, I thought, okay, I'm gonna see if I can talk to these women. And I did. So I talked to Anne Baring, I talked to Jean Shinoda Bolin, and so this is just what happens. Can I just say, when you follow a thread, when you allow your intuition to guide you, so you invite me, I have the conversation, I learn about these women, I say, okay, I'll try talking to them. I do. I talked to Jean Shinoda Bolin. I had to call her 3 times before I got a response. She ends up calling me, which blew me out of the water. And then she, in our conversation, said, Susanna, I'm going to Chicago in August to the Parliament of the World's Religions. I had never heard of it. She said, you should come too. So this is, as you know, how intuition works, right? It's like, it didn't leave me. I was just, I could go. Why don't I go? And so I went, and I know, I met her in person, and that has kicked off other things. It was a fantastic experience. So all that to say, thank you.
Oh,
But we're still doing it. I mean,
yes.
from the invitation, Susanna, can I interview you for my conference,
Yeah.
online conference? And here we are,
Yeah.
still playing with that whole,
Ah,
yeah.
I am moved by what you are saying, because this is something that I have noticed for myself, that I start something, I don't even know why I'm doing it, and then it generates ripple effects that I have no idea, that I have no control of.
Right.
And I think that's what we should be doing, all of us.
Yes.
Follow that hunch.
Yeah.
If you need to create a podcast, if you need to, well, I don't know, maybe for the listeners it's too big the step to go all the way to create a podcast, but follow your intuition, really, as small as switch on the television at this moment, or clean this week, to talk about following your intuition in simple things. I wanted to clean the bookshelf. Very
Okay.
simple thing.
Yeah.
And I found this fantastic.
I have to do that too, Blanca. I have to clean mine.
I found these amazing books that I had forgotten I had.
Oh.
And then I'm sure that I will read them and something will come up. And so let's keep playing. This mold in the clay is what is going to create a wonderful world. And I'm
Right.
so happy that all these things happen, and all the things that will continue happening. Continue following our intuition, I think, is another element indeed of the divine feminine. Absolutely.
Right. So are we going to do this again?
Absolutely. And maybe, ladies who are listening now, put in your comments, what kind of themes would you like us to cover? Mothers, relationships, money, I don't know. Be as creative, as curious as you can. Just type it there, and we'll be happy to explore it, to investigate it, and to share with you.
I love this idea. And you did it again. You said, Susanna, let's just get on Zoom and have a conversation. And definitely, I have other things that we could talk about. So let me just touch back so we don't go too long, but the idea of finding a book on your bookshelf. So I recently, do you remember when we were at Hudson and one of the books we had to read was The Art of Possibility by Rosamund Zander? Yeah, I rediscovered it recently, and it has excited me to no end. So it's his name, Rosamund and Benjamin.
Yeah, it's a couple. So beautiful.
Oh, I could spend a whole time with you talking about that book.
Yeah.
I've gotten very excited about it because it's about possibility and how when we get in that world of measurement and succeeding, like my whole world in that corporation, we don't see the possibility. We don't realize we have all these limits. And yeah, so we could talk about that too.
Yeah, I think to talk about it right now, the man who writes it is a musician, a conductor. And one of the pieces that I find really fundamental in music and to be able to find opportunity is silence. We just go from one thing to the other, to the other, to the other. And we don't allow ourselves to breathe, to see, to look perspectives. And how can we find possibility if we don't have silence? So this is very important. And this is for me part of what the divine feminine is all about, because I see it as the yin and the yang. And the yang is doing, which is beautiful because it creates stuff.
Right.
Without the yin, we can get very muddy. So we need passivity, we need silence, we need nothingness. And we get very uncomfortable when there is silence. Let us that discomfort.
We do. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I found it too.
Tell me about that piece that got you, that inspires you so much about the art of possibility.
Well, so I had some experiences, and they were kind of amazing, and the experiences were contrary to what they would call the world of measurement. So you think about, you want to do something, the world of measurement says, what are the chances? How could that ever happen? Do you know how many people have applied for that job? And it just, you say, okay, right. Yeah. So there's a wonderful restaurant known worldwide, and it's here in Maine, in a little town called Freedom, Maine. And it's the woman, Erin French, has written 2 cookbooks and her memoir, and it's called The Lost Kitchen. And people, 20,000 postcards, they have you submit postcards to get a reservation. You don't call up. And then they pick, I don't know, 2,000. Oh, wow. I know. So when I first heard about this, my immediate thought was the measurement world, right? I'll never, no way, I'm not even going to
be able to.
Right. So this year, and I don't know if it's my evolution or what, I don't know, but I got their newsletter, and it said, we're open for your postcards, send a postcard. And I just went into my closet where I keep postcards. I picked one, and I mean, how easy is this? I wrote my name, and I wasn't going, what are the chances? You're crazy. You're wasting your time. I just thought, this is easy. Just send it in.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
They called me. Amazing. I'm in this wonderful little coffee shop we have here, and they call me from the Lost Kitchen, Susanna, we pulled your postcard. So that is the world, what the Xanders call the universe of possibility, that we don't allow ourselves to see because we go immediately to the measurement world.
Yes.
And so that's just one of the things that, I mean, one of the things that happened was that Jean Shinoda Bolen called me back, and I got, because the measurement world was telling me, she is so famous, she's written 14 books, she's never going to call me. She calls me. So possibility, art of possibility. Yeah.
Yes. Let's say the mantra that I've been working with for a while is, what if things were better than I thought they are? Or that I think they are? What if things were better than I perceive them? What if this was better?
Right. Right.
And I have a good one on that, on the getting out of, I love what you say, getting out of the world of measurement. Camilo had a situation very similar to your invitation to the restaurant. Waiting list to enter into the football, impossible to enter into the football team. No, there are many children in this neighborhood. No, impossible. And he one day say, I want. We sent the message, accepted, like this. And anyhow, so parents have to be very active in this club, and I'm getting acquainted to how things are there. I have no idea, everything is new. And for that specific training, there needs to be a parent there. What?
Oh, a parent, yeah.
So a parent has to be present.
Yeah.
That's it, present. And I was just like blown away. What do you require me to do? Just be. I was such a reminder that actually this is what we are required to do, to be.
Right, right.
But still, I had to go. I had to take my bicycle to be able to be. So be, sometimes you need to do, but still being should not be disregarded. And being is very important. And we forget it.
Right. And that is the yin and the yang, and that is the masculine and the feminine united, and both are important. Yeah, absolutely.
And the practicality of it, that is not woo-woo until you go to church or you pray for the Virgin. No,
But there are, so let's just say this, because I understand as I went in to discover, I know that there are people that really see the divine feminine in a goddess figure, and wonderful, that's great. I mean, however people bring this concept in, is, I think, more power to the concept, to the sacred feminine. And yeah,
agreed. I think it's whatever can get you into understand in the door, then you will find more as you get in.
Right.
It could be as simple as respecting your food. Respecting your food, just being with your apple, and just don't do anything else but eating the apple. And if you start respecting that divinity of the apple, you will start respecting the divinity of the flower and the divinity of your hand. And then if we all start from that respect, that everything is divine, we will have divine contracts, divine, I don't know, shoes, cars, whatever. Yeah, I agree with you. It doesn't matter if they need to see the goddess in
there's different roads to God, goddess. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. For sure, what makes sense to you.
Yeah. Differently from God. How do you see the divine feminine? How do you connect you?
Me. All right, here's for me. And again, I'm still learning, so this could evolve. But right now, because I work, coach with different women, they're in my program about the heroine's journey. Which is so much about transition and change in their lives and helping them get to where they want to go on that journey, or how to be in that journey. At any rate, they allow what's been inside of them to come out, where, just like I did, they repress it in order to fit into this mostly masculine world. And they tell me things like, well, my father wanted me to be an engineer, so that's why I'm here. Or, well, my father said I would never make money if I was an art major, so that's why I'm doing that. And then finally, they start letting that out. And to me, the sacred feminine now and as I'm seeing it is that release, the women releasing, this is my passion, this is my flame, this is what I want to grow. And they could still be doing the thing that makes them money, but somehow acknowledging that fire inside, that passion, and letting it out. To me, that's my understanding of the sacred feminine. Oh, yeah.
Exciting. I can see it is like an awakening, no? Like the divine feminine awakening in each one of them.
Right, right. Instead of, no, well, it's like me, what I was saying. I got to get off of LinkedIn. They're thinking I'm too woo-woo, Screw that. This is who I am. I'm 71. I need to woo-woo, so be it.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for me is the body. The body.
Mm-hmm.
And I shared with you in a call, and maybe it's interesting that people listen to this, that also exactly the way that you described how you got into the divine feminine, through a very intuitive way, I ended up in a yin yoga training. So now I'm a yin yoga certified person.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations. Yeah.
What I learned is that there is something inside our body that is not included in the anatomy books of the past.
Okay, say more.
It's fascinating because I have this old book of anatomy here. I think, I don't know how old it is, 1980s or even 1970s. It's a relatively old book. And I go to this training in yoga, and I don't find it anywhere else in this book. And this is the thing that glues all the organs, all the muscles, and all the bones. Goodness, this is the feminine principle. The thing that glues absolutely everything, the thing that holds the family, the thing that holds generations, the thing that holds society, that holding principle is that. And I was amazed. Anatomically, they call it the fascia. Mm-hmm. And to study it is absolutely fascinating. When you have bad posture, your body develops fascia so that you are held even in the bad posture. So for me, it's almost, if you have trauma, no matter what, the Divine Mother will hold you anyhow.
Yes. Oh, that's interesting.
If you have a car accident, a bike accident, and you cut a muscle, particularly think about your legs, that they are very big muscles. The muscles take a lot of time to heal. So it takes time to build this beautiful wonder that is a muscle tissue. So the fascia holds it. And for me, it's very spiritual, this idea of healing your life with this divine principle of holding yourself. And it's like we are called in group events that we hold the space, or healing relationships, coaching relationships. And I do my yin yoga every evening, and I connect with that. And I connect with how I have been having bad posture for so many years. And as I learn, I understand more of how my mother walked wrongly. Her hip was not adequate. And I think, oh my God, this is just connected with how she was behaving, and I'm correcting my hips, and I'm meditating and letting go and forgiving what I before used to criticize my mother. And it's really beautiful. It's a healing process to connect with my own body.
And of course, what occurs to me is that's all in male bodies as well as female bodies. You know, we all have fascia. And so that's something. So yin yoga, YIN,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I'm all right. You're giving me something else I need to go look into.
Yeah, it is fascinating. It is really fascinating. This finding out how to bring back the feminine principles, the ancestral feminine principles to our life is going to be a great party, because that's the other feminine principle party, to laugh and to play and to do joy, the outside of the measurement world.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Definitely.
that's another thing. It's very exciting.
It is exciting. So we should definitely continue to have these conversations as we both continue down this similar path.
Absolutely. So
And I would,
what would you like to tell people to say goodbye?
oh my goodness. So I would like to tell people that no matter where you are, we are connected. We are connected, and we are charged with honoring that connection and recognizing that it's sacred. And I look out my window and there are trees and flowers. All of that is part of us too. And at the same time, each of us, we have this unique spirit. So I would say, let that out, let the flame burn. Remember, we're connected. And the more we do it individually, the more, just like Blanca, we have that ripple effect and we grow together. So let's keep doing it.
Yeah. Oh, this is so beautiful. What a pleasure talking to you. Ladies, I hope this conversation has lit that candle within, and we hope that that light remains. Remember that that light is really lighting more lights in the candles of everybody else. Keep shining. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Blanca.